All right, let's go. We got the recording. One main thing that he said that really stuck out, I just posted on my story because it was so good. He said it in a different way, but I put it like this. I said, the only real scam is being stuck in an environment with no room to grow. I was like, yo, that's huge. That's crazy. The only real scam is being stuck in an environment with no room to grow. So I don't really get that anymore. People like, oh, this pyramid scheme. Yeah. I don't really get that anymore. But if y'all do, when you do, knock that on them. Ask them what a pyramid scheme is, and then you can fire that away. But do y'all have any big takeaways? I would love to hear.
Yeah, I would say the kind of like it kind of revolves around that, but it's when he was saying when you're building, when you're putting the blocks together, we for your foundation, you really have to pay attention to the details, and that's in reality that's the truth, because when you're building a skyscraper, even at the top is a little bit off, at the bottom is where it needs to be perfectly precise, because without that foundation of really being just perfectly solid, it throws off the entire thing, and then you can have problems like water corrosion and so on and so on. But that for me right there was like very, very it was a really good nugget for me.
Yeah, I love that too. Lay each brick with detail, in your wall, having depth and resilience, and it's going to be a lot harder for anyone or anything to tear it down. So I love that too. Very good. You guys have anything? Any nuggets you pulled? That call was just insane. There's so much. But all right. One thing. Oh, were you gonna say something now?
I was driving, so I have to watch the recording. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Definitely, I'm probably gonna go back and watch the recording too. It's cool because it's all like in that digital academy, and which is great because they can see that this is just so much more than like, oh yeah, we're making money. This is trading, like value, right hook. And like that's the part that I got from it. It was like, wow, this is so much more than just like the platform, like us trying to sell a platform in the group. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much value in here that you're only focused on the value. And when it comes to like, how do I even like, okay, because you get to the point where you're looking at everything, it's like, okay, cool, like this is great, but like, how do I do this? And then they're already like thinking in their minds, how do I do this? And so when we show them, it's like, all right, this makes so much sense. That's just how I saw it. But anyways, lots of great things from that call. Definitely go back and rewatch it and make sure that your peeps are in that group. I swear to God, that group is so incredible. And the other thing I was going to say too, before I just kind of touch on a few things, with the digital academy, make sure, does everybody have the recording or know where to find the recording that Christian Jukes just did last week, breaking down his exposure process, his exposure pipeline in detail, and the digital academy? Does everyone know where that is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Inner circle chat, correct?
Yeah, it should be in there if you scroll up.
It's in the guide, right?
It is in the guide, yeah. I was going to say it's in the guide. Let me actually pull that up really quick because I added a couple things. Not really added. It's already really simplified, but I condensed a couple things. Here we go. And right here. So, yeah, I just kind of like condensed a few things. So as soon as like I send this, so as soon as the person gets started, they'll go right here. It's literally like, how can you miss it? Start here. And then right here is the weekly team call schedule. So if you guys ever are wondering like, when is a call? What time is it? What's the link for it? It should be in this schedule right here. And if it's not, you don't see it, please tell me. And I will update it so that way everybody will have access. This, again, the reason why we have something like this is because I don't know about you guys, I probably have something every day. Somebody is texting me, Abby, what's this video? where's this video? What's this? What's this call? I didn't know these were happening. And so like, this is just so easy to send out. Like, yeah, you know, here's the video, but, or like, you know, I can get you that video, but here's a document that has everything already here. So this is just duplicatable that we can send out. And we go over it when the newest person gets started. So it's just like, all right, I know. But sometimes you got to say things over and over again, like we talked about, for it to finally click. Because sometimes people just are not paying attention. They're so consumed in like their problems in their life. But anyways, all the updated videos to share are right here. Matt's, Jason's, which are phenomenal. And then I always tell people, if you have somebody that would be more relatable to Mike's video, right? Because Mike goes over like the trading side in the beginning, how to actually, like, what does catching a pip mean in relation to money? If you have that type of person that wants to see that and you can kind of gauge it, send them that video first, okay? And then right here, I kind of updated it too, the IBO training, just like us leaders. I labeled it 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you have somebody that wants to build, literally just say, hey, here's the document. Make sure you go through this. Start right there with the IBO training. Go through Jim Rohn's video. Christian Juke's video that he just did is right here, okay? And then this is the 7-day Chairman Bootcamp playlist, which is honestly everything that you need. Everything you need, from the invite to the follow-up to the edification, all of it. And then if you click on this tab, it's just additional leadership and network marketing development that you guys can tap into. That it's not like a ton of stuff, but it is just like a general outline of like, all right, yeah, I should probably pay attention to this. Because I get questions like that a lot too, and I'm sure as you guys start to really build out your team, you're going to get that too. So it's just going to be really good to have something like this that's duplicatable. And now we have the Digital Academy to leverage, and this video that Christian does lays it out on how to leverage that too. So they're going to watch that and be like, okay, how can I get access to this group? This is how I do it. It's just going to make everything so much more seamless and easier. But one thing that I did want to just touch on this call, Jason already covered so much, the mindset of a digital entrepreneur, which is really cool, because one thing that I really wanted to kind of touch on this call is the process itself. And I know we hear that a lot, but it really got me to think. I've had multiple conversations this week with you guys and other leaders that unfortunately couldn't make the call today. And it really got me thinking about our process. And I don't want to take too much time to just go into this, because it's very simple. It's just becoming aware of it to the point that you're actually applying in your life to build better habits. And it's funny, I was just talking to my mom about this. Like, what does education really mean, right? When you're learning and you're taking in knowledge, what does educating and learning mean to you? And one thing that I'm reading in the book right now, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's literally like the first page before the first chapter. He said the purpose of education is to take action. And he calls his book an action book. And that's how I'm viewing everything that I'm doing now. You know, the document that I just showed you guys, it's an actionable, practical, tactical, strategic, doc that we can send out for people to not just consume, but take action on, right? All the calls that we do, something like this, not just giving information, but actually sharing information with the intent for you guys to go out and apply. And with that application, you're in your mind thinking, okay, how can I form better habits because of the information that I'm taking in? So listening to the call that we were just on with Jason, I'm thinking about, and I'm kind of like strategizing, okay, how can I take some of this information and not just share it on this call and teach you guys, right? We all just heard it, but repetition is key. But how can I go out in my life and apply that to build better habits? Because if we're just taking in information, we're not actually changing our situation. You have to actually obviously go out and apply it. So with our process, I think one thing that Andy Frisella said in his one of the podcasts I was just listening to, he talked about how everybody talks so much about like the strategy to win, the strategy to be better, right? but nobody ever really goes into detail. And I'm not perfect. I'm not, on this call to be like, I've got the golden nuggets or anything like that. I'm just shedding light to what he said because it was so prominent. He said, nobody really talks about how important it is to actually understand how to lose, understanding how to lose. And when he said it like that, I was like, and he gave a couple examples. I was like, that's so powerful because we get, we jump on, not saying that this is wrong, but we jump on the chairman mentorship, we jump on these calls and all these other things, and go live, right? Whatever it is. And we're getting strategies to win, to get the outcome that we want, but we're not given the mindset in a sense of like, how to lose, like how to handle a loss. And I was taking notes from the book that I was reading, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The whole purpose of taking in knowledge and information, like I said, to build better habits, but with that is to actually know how to handle and deal with people, handle situations. And that's something that's become so prominent in my life that I've just completely was not actually aware of. Like, that saying of like, somebody tells you something and you're like, oh yeah, I know that. Well, you really don't know something. You don't really ever know anything. Let's just be real. You're always getting it. Just like Kevin Trudeau talks about in his audio. You're always getting something. You never arrive. But you never really actually become aware of something until you're experiencing it, until you're in the moment. And as I've really dived into the 75 hard and become more aware of my bad habits, of my insecurities, of my flaws, of my excuses, and all these other things, I've become so much more aware of what it feels like to lose. And I'm going to be a little transparent with you guys. I was telling Alex this the other day because I felt super, super anxious the other day, like really abnormally anxious. And I know that when I get like this, it's because I'm facing the real parts about myself. I'm confronting the real parts about me that I don't really like, or I'm not paying attention to, the bad habits, the poor mindset, the negative self-talk, the insecurities, right? All these things that you really don't, look back at yourself in the mirror and you just kind of shuffle under the rug and you move on. But since I've been doing this, I can't just let those things go, under the surface. I have to actually pay attention to them. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because, well, I'm just going to be real with y'all, okay? Giving you context. Instead of, we get to a point sometimes where we know that we need to be messaging people. We know we need to be, exposing and all these other things, or go live and trade, whatever, but we don't. And when we don't, because it's convenient for us at that time to not do that, what I've done is I'll go and eat ice cream, or I'll go and do something stupid, or I'll go and, have a beer or whatever. And I'll just or I'll watch something on Netflix and I'll put my time and my attention into something else so that I don't have to focus on the work. So I don't have to focus on, my insecurities. And so because I can't go and eat whatever I want, I can't just sit around and do whatever I want. I can't just pick up a drink whenever I want. I'm just giving you guys some relatable examples. Because I can't do that, because I'm disciplining myself on the 75 hard, it has forced me to become real with myself. And that's why I think I was getting a lot of anxiety, because I was like, wow, you're actually paying attention to the things that you don't like about yourself. You're actually focusing on the things that, you haven't even taken the time to get real with about. And that's why you've been staying in the same spot for so long, because you haven't acknowledged those things. They were always there, but you dismissed them right away, didn't give them enough time to even nurture or heal so that I could grow. And I'm going to lead this back into why losing and understanding why losing is important, your failures. But this was so real for me. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I know everybody experiences this. If I experience it, I know that there's somebody else out there that also experiences it as well. And we're so focused on the outcome. We're so focused on the result. And that's why I was getting anxiety, was because, wow, I actually have to go and do the work. I can't just, pour my thoughts and feelings and emotions and reject the work that I didn't want to do. I can just go and do what I want to do for the convenient moment. But now I have, now because I'm disciplined, I've got all this time, you realize how much time you actually have. And then you start to do the work and you're like, oh my God, time's going by so fast. I was getting anxiety because now I actually have to pay attention to the things that I don't like about myself. And this is the part of the process that most people never get to. They never get to that breaking point that actually once they get broken, right? Once they break down, that's actually your moment where God or whatever you guys believe in can build you up. Like the universe, God, whatever you guys believe in, usually comes in the moments where you are the most vulnerable. And I felt like that the other day, and blessings just start to come in unexpected, weird ways, but not really. It's all divine and planned, right? To his plan. And that's kind of what I was experiencing the other day. And I'm sharing this with you guys because, like I said, I know it's going to be relatable to a certain degree, but recognizing that we can get all the strategies in the world, right, to win. The blueprint, right? We all say, oh yeah, I've got the secret sauce. I've got the blueprint for you. Here it is. But if you don't understand what the process means, I heard Jeff Bezos say this. Oh my God. I was watching a thing the other day. People don't understand that, and I know you guys do, right? But it's not until you're living in that moment that you're like, okay, yeah, wow, that's actually real. But we don't understand that the process itself is supposed to break us down. Jeff Bezos said, I've failed more times than I've won, obviously, right? We know that. But he said a few big successes compensate for dozens and dozens and dozens of things that didn't work out. And when he said that, he said, I have, because he's a multi-billionaire, right? He said, I have $1 billion failures. Like the $1 billion that I have are just $1 billion worth of failures. And I was like, you have to sit back and really understand what he's saying, because he's failed so many times in his process. He understands that losing is a part of the process. Getting rejected and falling down and having doubt and fear and worry and all these other things are a part of the process. And it allows you to become the person that you're meant to be in order to receive the outcome that you actually desire. And these are all things that we've heard before. I'm just going to be real with y'all. I've heard this before. I'm regurgitating information that my mentors have taught me, that you guys have heard as well. But I think this is so prominent because I had a conversation with somebody this week who was telling me that, for the last 2 weeks, they were just on a run, just messaging people all day long, every day, getting, exposures and this and that, but nobody got started. Nobody has gotten started, and they were starting to get really discouraged, and they were starting to doubt themselves, all these things, right? And she told me that literally that day that, she started to feel that way, somebody randomly who was on her list from years ago had messaged her saying, I'm ready to get started. That's how this works, because you're so consistent, because you understand the process and you know where you're going, why you're doing what you're doing. It's not abnormal. It's not coincidence. It's things happen like that because you're doing the work and they're watching you. They're paying attention, right? So I'm sharing that with you because you're going to go through that, where you're going to have periods, whether it's recruiting, whether it's in your trading, it doesn't matter, where you're going to feel like you're doing all this work every day, consistently giving it your all, slamming it out the park, and you're still not going to see a physical fruition of your ideal, right, of what you want to see. But all of a sudden, it's going to seem like it's all of a sudden, but not really. It was a buildup of your consistency and the universe, God, whatever you believe in, testing you and preparing you to see if you're actually ready for the blessing that he's giving you. Because if you can't get through that doubt, if you can't overcome and recognize the process that he's building you up to become that person, you're not ready for the big blessing that he has prepared for you. Just imagine, you're working day in and day out for a month, right? Every day you're getting exposures and nobody gets started. But because you go into this period of doubt and you don't think that anything is going to happen by like the second or third week, and you just stop your consistency, by that end of that 4 weeks, that month, he was going to bless you with a leader, right? Or whatever it may be. Like, this is just how this works, consistency. But because you quit too early, because you didn't understand the process and that you're supposed to feel this doubt, but you get to the point where you understand that this doubt is not, it's not that it's not real, but that those thoughts and those feelings aren't yours. You don't have to accept the doubt. You don't have to accept those thoughts that come in. You can only accept thoughts that are a part of the goal and the outline for yourself. Like, I experience doubt all the time, but you don't have to accept it. You can say, that's not my thought. Those aren't my feelings. Like, yes, those are my feelings, but like, that's not my thought because it's not aligned with where I'm going or my goals. So I know this was like super in-depth, a lot of like detail. It is a very simple concept, but it's not until we're like in the moment experiencing those things that we start to realize, oh, wow, I am feeling this doubt and worry and anxiety and fear and all these other things. But it's a part of the process. It's normal. And you can choose to dismiss those thoughts. You can choose to stay focused. But I think we can't win. We can't do anything with the strategies to win until we really understand that you're going to fall down. You're going to have more setbacks than you do comebacks. You're going to feel insecure sometimes. You're going to feel a little envious sometimes. Like, it just is what it is. And you get to a point where you know yourself so well that none of those things faze you anymore. But you can't get to that point until you recognize it right now. And that's why I wanted to give that context and that example earlier of how now I can't just like shovel all these things under the rug anymore. I have to face it because I'm disciplining myself. I'm building my mental toughness and my resilience and all these other things that come with it. So I really wanted to share that because you guys are really in the trenches right now. You're going through your process to become Platinum 600, Platinum 1000. And you really have to think about it, shift your perspective of like, okay, how many rejections do I need to, or how many no's and rejections do I need to get in order to go Platinum 600? How many times do I have to fall down in order to go Platinum 1000? You know, what's the mindset of a Platinum 2000? Like, you just start to shift your mindset when you're in the process, and you stop thinking that just because something isn't working out on your ideal plan, how you see things playing out, doesn't mean that it never will. The one thing that just always keeps me going is knowing that if you stay consistent in anything that you do and discipline in your consistency, you will, without a doubt, get what you want. If you stay consistent in what you're doing, without a doubt, you will get what you want. It's just a law. And when I heard that, and we've heard this multiple times, but when I heard that in my process at the very moment that I needed to hear it, when I was ready to receive it, it made sense. And I've just been telling myself, whenever I feel doubt, whenever I feel fear or worry that, you know, things aren't going to work out, whatever, I don't accept those thoughts. I just remember that you keep staying consistent, because you can get anything and you can create anything and have anything in your life if you just stay committed to your consistency and your discipline. And nothing worthwhile in your life will come unless you're disciplined in whatever you're doing. And that's just a fact. That's just a law. So I don't want to take too much more into that, but I think it was so important that we talk about that, or at least I share that with you guys, because when you go chairman, like on your chairman run, on your P1000 run, whatever it is, you're going to experience a lot of these things. But if you don't understand that, it's easy to say like, yeah, I know I'm going to have setbacks. I know I'm going to fail. I know I'm going to fall down. It's easy to say that when you're not working, when you're not emotional, when you're not getting the rejection, when you don't have people leaving your team for whatever God knows reason, okay? It's easy to think that way when you're not under pressure. But when you're under pressure and you have all those things happening, that's when, like, you have to condition yourself. That's what this is about. Like, that's why we have these calls, repetition, to regroup, to hold each other accountable as we grow as leaders, so that we can get to a point and have the capacity, the ability to develop and duplicate others. That's what we want to do. We can't go chairman unless we help other people do what we're doing, right? So with that being said, I would like to just open it up and hear from you guys. Maybe some takeaways, maybe some instances that you've experienced that maybe we just want to kind of chop it up a bit, and also hear from you guys. What have you noticed about these last few weeks, July itself, that have really given you some realizations and breakthroughs that you want to share?
I'll add something real quick, kind of to touch up with what you were saying right now. Most people give up, right before the blessings actually happen, and that's, you're right, because I've had someone recently just reach out to me and saying, hey, man, like, I want to get started. I've definitely been watching, and this is someone that, has been watching me for like 2.5 years, and they're like, yo, like, for example, like Naya was like, yo, Tony, like, I want to live that lifestyle. Like, how is it that you're traveling to all these places, And then sure enough, once we show people what it is we're actually doing, they're like, oh, it makes sense. But more than anything, it's like just really staying consistent with everything and really, just once again, the law of 90 days, just you keep going, even though you don't see results, because at the end of that month or the end of the 60, 90 days, you're really going to see, the difference. You're really going to see, everything really happen, once everything is done. But yeah, that's what I got from you today. So thank you.
Just something that I picked up on today. Can you guys hear me? I have my headphones in. Sometimes I feel like I can't even hear myself.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, I was actually reading Think and Grow Rich, and he basically says, you know how he says like there's a secret in the book. He basically says it in the beginning, not even in chapter 1. But he says like the secret to great wealth and riches is to learn how to think like a rich person, like a wealthy person. And I feel like whether it's these calls or a call like how Jason Brown did earlier, like it's just learning and getting inside the head of those guys and taking away a few things that you can implement to the thought patterns that you're having. And that's just something that sat with me today, this morning. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because it brought different kind of awareness to me, at least.
Dope. That's awesome. Yeah, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. If we can like share little nuggets like that, shift each other's perspective, that's what this is about. That way we can go out and apply that value and build better habits, handle and deal with situations better, adapt quickly, and recognize that things are always going to happen, but they're happening for us, and we just have to be open and willing to adapt and change quickly. So with that being said, we'll wrap it up. I appreciate you guys for jumping on here, just to kind of set the schedule for the week. Tomorrow, Zoom to Success call. I don't have a guest as of right now, so I think what we might do is a little something different, maybe like a 15-minute like training or something. Nothing crazy, but definitely promote for that, because those calls are really to help everybody stay close to the campfire, build their belief, and communicate, things that are happening so that they can stay plugged in and aware of what's going on and how we can continue to get better and get better results. So definitely promote for that. And then this coming week, as always, Monday through Friday, Zoom to Success calls at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. As normal, if you guys want to, intro, please do send me a text. I know we've already got a few people already committed to opening, so send me a text if you want to be on. These calls are really going to be able to help you continue to grow, because if you really think about it, I always say this: if we want to build a team and we have them like actually grow as leaders, we've got to take that first step and do it ourselves, lead by example, so that others can see how to do it. So with that being said, y'all, I appreciate you. Respect you guys. Love you guys. And I will definitely see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Have a great Saturday.